something about a new algorithm which was published in 2020 July in American Heart Association journal. And the name was Barcelona algorithm because just it was studied in the Spain in multi-center. It is a multi-center study which involved nearly 500 patients over a period of 7 years. Initial 5 years it was a patient collection period and derivation period. That is, they derived the inference from that data, and after that 3 years there was a validation period, whether the derivation, what data they have derived, what inference they have derived, whether it is valid or not. So that was nearly 500 patients, and it included all patients with left bundle branch block and suspected myocardial infarction. There are multiple algorithms available for left bundle branch block and myocardial infarction. So we will come to know during the lecture what are the problems with that algorithm and why they needed another algorithm for this. So to introduce, a left bundle branch block can be generally found in nearly 1% of population. It differs from population to population from 0.2% to 1.1%. Etiology of left bundle branch block is, it can be either structural or it can be functional. Structurally, commonest causes dilated cardiomyopathy, hypertension for long standing, or ischemic heart disease. Another common cause is aortic valve disease, particularly aortic stenosis, post-cardiac surgeries, digoxin toxicity, hyperkalemia, and primary degenerative conduction system disorder, that is Leber-Lenegre disease. Or many times it can be functional, rate related, either bradycardia or tachycardia related, left bundle branch.
So can LV be without any reason?
Yeah, it can be functional, or even without any reason. Yes, it is possible. Idiopathic LVBB is also noted. So to define LVBB, this is the definition or criteria to say any ECG as LVBB. First and foremost criteria, it has to be a supraventricular rhythm. It cannot be a ventricular rhythm. Ventricular rhythm with broad QRS cannot be named as left bundle branch block. It has to be supraventricular, means either it is coming from atrium, SA node, or it is coming from the nodal rhythm, that is a AV nodal rhythm, or his bundle rhythm. QRS duration has to be more than 120 milliseconds to call it as a proper LVBB. Now there are different criteria also to say it is a partial LVBB or incomplete LVBB when QRS is less than 120 milliseconds, but other criteria are getting fulfilled. That is partial, but this term is not very accepted among all cardiologists. Book says there is a partial LVBB condition is there. Otherwise, per se LVBB QRS has to be more than 120 milliseconds. Then if we talk about lateral leads, 1, AVL, V5, V6, there has to be broad, notched or slurred alveoli like this. It has to be a slurred alveoli. When we say slurred alveoli, it means the distance from the onset of QRS to the peak of alveoli should be more than 60 milliseconds. So that is broad and slurred alveoli. May it be only alveoli, monophasic alveoli, may it be RS pattern, or may it be long R and short S. That is possible. But two wave cannot be there in V5, V6 or 1 AVM in case of left bundle branch block. If there is two wave in left bundle branch block in lateral leads, means there is something wrong. Either patient is going into some arrhythmias or some major infarction is there or some other issues are there with LVBB. Because what happens when in normal heart, the septum gets activated from left to right. Now there is a left bundle branch block. So impulse is going to come into right bundle and from RV to LV. So activation will be from right to left. So that's why there will be positive RV in all lateral leads, that is V3, V4, V5, V6, 1, AVL, and there cannot be a septal Q waves. Then some more criteria are also there. Lead V1. Lead V1 can have a small RV with deep SO or QS pattern. That is lead V1. STT abnormalities are generally present with normal LVBB also, and that is STT waves are usually in opposite direction of the QRS axis, and there could be associated left axis deviation. It is not must, it can be normal axis also, but there could be associated left axis deviation. So this was about normal LVBB. Now why it is important to discuss LVBB with myocardial infarction? Nearly 2% of patients who present with ACS are having LVBB with myocardial infarction. Even in our day-to-day practice, 2-3 patients in a month comes like this who have LVBB, chest pain, excessive discordant ST elevation in V1 can be present in LVB and that will mimic MI. While ST depressions or opposite direction ST changes can mask MI also. So it will mimic MI also, it will mask MI changes also. And this is also very important, like not all new onset or presumed new onset LVB is coronary artery disease. Now, when we will discuss about guidelines, the first guidelines of ACCHA say any new onset bundle branch block, may it be RBBB or LVBB, is considered as a myocardial infarction. Then discussion started. Left bundle is supplied by, left bundle has two twins. One is anterior branch and posterior branch. That's why we say left anterior hemiblock and left posterior hemiblock. And this anterior branch, posterior branch, both are supplied by different arteries. One is supplied by left circulation, one is supplied by right circulation. So how can a person have a MI which blocks both the side of circulation? That person practically does not reach to hospital. Say one is supplied by L6, one is supplied by RC. So person is supposed to have both acute MI, then person can have a acute onset of LBB. That's why after guidelines they change. With LBB there has to be some criteria, or there has to be some new onset LHP, new onset LPHP, then it should be considered as a myocardial infarction. And then more confusion was added. And this kind of patient, LBB with MI, are generally more older, generally they are females, and have a long history of pre-existing cardiovascular disorders, may it be hypertension, may it be aortic stenosis, may it be old ischemic heart disease, and congestive heart failure. And they are at more risk, not because of LBB, but because of associated conditions, which has produced LBB in past. So these are guidelines. This was 2004, where they said new or presumed new onset LBB is considered as STEM equivalent. Left bundle branch is more diffuse structure than right bundle branch, and LBB as a part of MI indicates extensive myocardial damage. Then guideline was slightly modified in 2013. They said LBB has to be considered as STEM equivalent, but not in isolation. There has to be other factors. Then came the first definition of universal definition of myocardial infarction that said symptoms with ECG changes with enzymes. Then only it can be considered as M. Then 2017 ESC guidelines also said more or less same. Diagnosis of STEMI with LBB is difficult. They included concordant ST elevation, best indicator for ongoing ischemia. That is concordant, that we'll discuss in next slide. And clinical suspicion of ongoing ischemic LBB should be managed similar to STEMI patient. So patient oriented. And then fourth definition of MI, what we have already discussed. So there are various criteria to define myocardial infarction with LBB. First and very well known criteria is Garbosa's criteria that we all know, which was published in 1996. Anyone can tell this criteria?
More than 5 millimeter ST elevation. Is it this?
Both?
Say it is a point-based criteria. There are 5 points, and the first criteria is the concordant ST elevation more than 5 mm in V1 to V3. Then concordant ST depression.
That will give you how many points?
That will give 1.
Concordant ST elevation cannot be.
So concordant is 3. Discordant is 1 point.
Concordant ST elevation in V1 to V3 cannot be there. If you look at this V1 is predominantly negative QRS complex. Concordant means ST segment going towards the direction of QRS. ST segment going opposite to the direction of QRS is discordant. So concordant ST elevation can be there in V5, V6, and if I extend this ECG, it can be there in 1 AVF or maybe in AVF also sometimes. So that is our first point, that is concordant ST elevation more than 1 millimeter in leads with positive QRS complexes. Like this. This is a lead V6 where QRS is positive. If there is ST elevation here, then it will be MI. Like this is normal ECG of left bundle, this is V6, this is V1. And this is again V6 and this two are V1. So normal LBBB is like this. When QRS is positive, ST segment is slightly downwards, that is a discordant ST depression with T inversion. While LBB with MI will have a concordant ST elevation. When QRS is up, ST is also up. That is concordant ST elevation. That can be generally seen in lead 1, AVL, B5, B6. So this is sure MI, and it was given maximum score, that is score of 5. And when a score of 5 is achieved in Garba's criteria, specificity is almost nearly 98%. So that is first criteria. Second criteria is again concordant ST depression. Concordant ST depression can be seen in leads with maximum negative QRS complexes, that is V1, V2, V3. What they have considered, if we look at the whole ECG, even lead 2, 3, AVF also will have a negative QRS, but they have not considered that leads. They have considered only 3 leads, lead V1, V2, V3. What happens beyond lead V1, V2, V3? Their ST depression they have not commented on. So that's why all problems started when ST depression occurs in other lead than V1, V2, V3. What to consider for that? That's why we required another algorithm. So second point is concordant ST depression more than 1 millimeter in V1, V2, V3. Like this is lead V1. Here this is a PQ segment, or you can say PR segment. This ST is slightly elevated. It is not depressed. So this is a discordant changes, which is discarded. While here, this QRS is negative. This is absolutely up, and this QRS is negative. This is ST is down. So this is discordant ST elevation, and this is concordant ST depression. ST going towards.
This is more J junction.
J junction.
That is classic ST elevation.
Yes, J junction. So we consider J junction as the start of ST segment. Yes.
So if you look at it, over the years, all the criteria, technically two things are very clear. ST elevation, depression.
Yes.
These two, if they are there, you go flag out.
Yes, definitely. Only problem when it will start, ST elevation will be normally seen in V1, V2, V3
Then the
with LBB.
Yes.
And whether that ST elevation is significant or not, that's why our criteria came into action. So second is
this concordant ST depression of more than 1 is to be seen in all the series or
no, as of now we are discussing only Garba's criteria. So what Garba's said, it is only V1, V2, V3. Now I will come to that new algorithm where we will see in all leads. Then there is excessive discordant ST elevation, that what we already discussed in lead V1, V2, V3. QRS is predominantly down. If ST segment is elevated by more than 5 millimeter, then it is considered positive, but it has a score of only 2. So only discordant ST elevation without any changes in other leads is not considered as a full-blown AMI, because score 2 will give you a sensitivity of nearly 30% and specificity of around 50%, 60%. So it is not very sensible criteria. All 3 has to be there, or at least 1 plus 3 or 2 plus 3 has to be there to call it as a MI. Even we apply all 3 criteria, the Garba's criteria are not sensitive. It is less sensitive means there are many false negatives are there and many cases are missed. Nearly sensitivity is 36 to at max in many articles it is 46%. Let's consider it as a 50%. So even 50% cases are being missed. Only we apply this criteria then. And total score of more than 3, like only second point is present or only first point is present, then specificity is nearly more than 90%. So specificity was always there, 90 to 98%, but sensitivity was lacking. So that's why many cases are being missed. So that's why this criteria is modified by Smith in somewhere in 2012. So it was modified to improve diagnostic accuracy. First point remains same, concordant ST elevation. The ST elevations they are not going to change. Concordant ST elevation, QRS up, ST up, more than 1 millimeter, more than 1 millimeter in more than 1 leads or equal to 1 leads, any 1 leads. This point remains same. Second point, concordant ST depression, QRS down, ST down, 1 millimeter, 1 millimeter in lead V1 to V3, in lead V1 to V3, this point also remained same. What was changed was here, because many times what happens in LBBB, the depth of S wave is nearly 10-12 millimeters, and we say only 5 millimeter of ST elevation. So there they considered the ST ST elevation has to be more than 25% of the size of the SO in V1, V2, V3. So what that did, that improved the specificity as well as sensitivity. Then there are other signs also. Presence of QR complexes in lead V1, lead 1, V5, V6, lead 2, 3 AVF, LBBP strongly suggests underlying infarction. That's what we have already discussed. Lateral leads cannot have a QL in LBBP, pure LBBP. If lateral lead is showing you QL, it has to be some old infarction or it has to be ongoing infarction. Then prominent notching of the ascending part of the S wave. Now S wave where we will see V1, V2, V3, V4. So this is the S wave in V1, V2, V3, V4. This is normal. And ascending limb. This is a descending limb. This is ascending limb. If we see notch on this ascending limb, then it can be considered as an ongoing ischemia or myocardial infarction. And this sign is called as capillary arrest. Yeah. Then prominent notching in ascending limb of the R wave. That is R waves, generally prominent R waves are seen in lateral limb. V5, V6, 1 AVL. If there is a notch in the ascending limb, descending limb of R wave will show notch, that is a normal phenomenon. But ascending limb of R wave showing notch is again called chest sign.
This means basically the notch is an indicator that the ST is going to take off.
Yes, yes.
So
Yes.
this notch could be present at different points.
Yes, because both the time notch is in the later.
It's a takeoff point.
Yes, yes.
What is the mechanism of that?
Because there is an ongoing ischemia, and that's why now what happens why QRS is wide. Because LV is dilated or LV is getting supplied through RV. Like from right side to left side we are getting current. Now notch will be present because left side is also getting hampered. Left side is also developing some amount of ischemia. That's why current has to travel more distance to reach the lateral wall. And that's why there will be notch somewhere in the ascending or descending limb. So this was the algorithm which was given after that modified criteria in 2012. Suspected MI and LBBP when may be new or old. If it is suspected myocardial infarction, check for hemodynamic instability. If patient is having hemodynamic instability, acute consider it as a myocardial infarction and treat it as a stent. If patient is not having any hemodynamic instability, then this criteria will come into picture. Like Garmoz's criteria, modified Garmoz's criteria, whatever criteria you want to apply. If it is positive, consider it as a STEMI equivalent. If the criteria are negative, bedside echo can be performed as a confirmatory test. And bedside echo, if it confirms the myocardial infarction or if it confirms the LV dysfunction, then treat it as a STEMI or non-ST elevation MI. Otherwise, it is no issue.
How do you distinguish between pre-existing LV dysfunction and fresh LV dysfunction?
That we have to compare, sir. If at all it is
Something
available. If it is available, otherwise
Otherwise
consider
not.
it as a new. Consider it as a new. Then came this Barcelona algorithm in 2020. So they gave only two criteria. It is to say it is two criteria. There are many criteria inside. One is concordant ST deviation. Concordant ST deviation means it will involve Garmoz's 1 and 2 both. So concordant ST deviation of more than 1 mm in any leads. May it be lead 1, 2, 3, may it be AVR. AVR is also forgotten, we don't generally see AVR. But here I will show some example where AVR will show changes. So may it be any leads. Concordant ST deviation, ST up, QRS up, concordant ST elevation, more than 1 mm in any lead, it is positive. ST down, QRS down, more than 1 mm in any leads, it is positive. Here they have made a slight changes. There we were talking about lead V1, V2, V3. Lead V1, V2, V3 had a negative QRS complex with discordant ST elevation of more than 5 mm or discordant ST elevation of more than 25% of the depth of S1 as per modified criteria. Here they came out of V1, V2, V3 and they had gone to all part of ECG, all leads. And what they said, deviation, the discordant deviation, even if it is more than 1 mm, it is significant. But which leads to check for that? Because V1, V2, V3 will always say ST discordant changes of more than 1 mm. Even if we look at the normal ECG, V1, V2, V3 will have ST elevation with LVVT. So there you can consider only leads where R wave or S wave is less than 6 mm. Whichever is predominant, maybe R3 and S of 6, consider S wave. If it is less than 6, that lead can be considered for this criteria. If that S wave is of 8 mm, this criteria does not apply. That lead cannot be considered for this criteria. I'll come to the examples.
So how sensitive it is?
How specific it
It's both, 99. I'll show you the data also.
Specificity will be good, but
is? Lot of false positives here.
Yeah. No, but that's why if we are going to increase sensitivity, false positive will be coming. Will be there. So, sorry. Anyone can describe on this ECG? Chalo, Viral.
In lead V6, there is notching in R wave. Then there is ST elevation in V1, V2.
And go one by one. Here there is any ST elevation.
No, sir.
Here there is any ST elevation.
Depression. Discordant
Depression is this is downsloping ST. J
Downsloping
point.
ST.
We are considering J point and start of QRS. So no ST depression. Lead to
No distance.
ST depression but less than 1 mm. Lead 3, no ST depression. AVR,
No, sir.
nothing.
No.
AVL, nothing. AVF, nothing. V1, there is ST elevation of 2 mm, but look at the depth 5, 10. It is more than 6. So we cannot consider this discordant ST elevation as significant. Here again QRS is quite deep. This ST elevation cannot be considered as significant. Deep QRS, again deep QRS. What happens here?
ST depression, sir. Discordant ST
Yeah,
depression.
so there is ST depression of nearly 2 mm ST depression. QRS is predominantly negative. So concordant ST depression more than 1 mm. Yes, it is positive. V6. V6 QRS is positive. Let's say it is 6 mm. Actually it is 7 mm, but let's say it is 6 mm. But discordant ST depression more than 2. This could have been considered significant if QRS is less than 6 mm. But here QRS is more than 6 mm, not considered significant. But this lead, yes, it is significant. So one of the criteria is getting fulfilled. This patient can be considered as MI if patient is having chest pain. Otherwise, no.
There is no scoring.
No scoring. No scoring. Any of the two criteria.
This could be one of the smaller tweaks.
Yes, any of the two
Only
criteria.
single lead.
This is the finer
Yeah.
interpretation. Once you have to apply Garbo's criteria, look at the patient is having pain or not, then we can apply this criteria for further sensitivity. Priya. Lead one.
Lead one, sir, it is 6, almost 6 ST elevation. QRS is 6 mm and ST depression 1.
Yeah, ST depression more than 1, so discordant more than 1.
Discordant more.
Actually, if we look at the from the start of QRS, then QRS is 7. Let's say it is equilocal. V2, V2.
Its lead 2 is significant. Its QRS is less than 6 and ST depression is almost 2 mm.
No, ST depression is same. It is not 1. It is less than 1 mm.
It's more than one.
Actually,
I see the language.
one square is the thickness of the
1 square is
Tracing.
thickness. This is 1 square is
there is no
thickness.
tracing actually.
Yes.
So anything about you can run.
No, this is a common problem, you know.
Yes,
This
yes.
criteria.
This is a problem many times. Our ECG will have a vibration.
Somebody is overheated, somebody is underheated. You don't know.
So we need guidelines for that now. How many
That
people
we will come with bankers and or maybe Baroda algorithm. Here there is no ST changes. What happens here?
There is a QRS is less than 6, but ST elevation is almost
Yes, almost 1.5 kilo or 1.2 millimeter. So that is one thing is positive. AVL,
no ST
AVL flat, AVL flat. V1 ST elevation was QRS more than 6 millimeter, QRS more than 6, QRS more than 6, QRS more than 6.
ST.
V5 again
ST
it is
depression.
positive ST depression, significant QRS less than 6 millimeter.
And V6 also.
V6 also positive. So
This is
V5, V6, AVR, again it is positive. Next, Vikram.
So, lead 1 is all more than 6 mm. That is
more than
discordant.
6 millimeter.
Although there is discordant ST depression.
So when it is discordant, then only we consider QRS height. Otherwise, QRS height is nothing to do with concordance.
Okay,
This is
lead
flat.
2 is less than 5 mm, but I can't see any significant ST depression. It's less than 2 mm. Again, for lead 3, so I cannot make out from here, but there is more than 1 mm.
Slight ST elevation, but QRS is also again doubtful, nearly reaching 6.
Nearly.
So let's see, we will consider this if nothing is present.
Okay. Again, the AVR, it's nearly 6, nearly 6.
Yeah.
And the addition is also not that significant.
Maybe 1 millimeter ST elevation. Maybe. AVR.
For AVR again, lead is more than 6. And there's no significant discordant depression. For AVR, it's isoelectric and less than 6, but there is no significant ST depression or elevation. V1 to V3 all are more than 6 mm. For V4,
So this is more or less ambiguous CCDs, but if you enlarge the CCD, it is like this. Lead 3 has ST elevation. Lead AVR also has ST elevation. Lead AVR also has ST elevation. Because this side it is not very clearly seen, but if you enlarge this, it is like this. So here the problem is that we have to calculate. It is 1 millimeter, and this is 6 millimeter, this is 7 millimeter. We have to calculate. Yes, we have to calculate. That is also I am coming to. So this is also positive acidity. Next, this. Priyank or Viral, anyone?
So V1 is less than 6 but no ST changes. 2 is no ST changes or lead 3 is less than 6 and there is I think 1 mm ST elevation.
Here it is properly seen. Here dotted lines are properly seen. It is not. From start of QRS to the J point, it is isoelectric or maybe it is 0.5 millimeter ST. Not significant.
AVR no changes.
AVR also not significant.
AVR is also no changes.
Not significant.
AVR
AVF not significant.
If you enlarge AVF, it might come.
Maybe. But as of now, because I know what is
more than 6 sir.
QRS depth is more.
Magnified ECG is a new criteria.
Yeah. So here there is no changes. This is normal. So even this criteria, it is not like that this criteria will show all LVPP as MI. Normal ECGs are present with this criteria also. And this about sensitivity and specificity. Barcelona criteria, sensitivity increased to 93%, but we all know when sensitivity will increase, false positive will increase. Although they said specificity of 94, but yes, false positive is going to increase. Compare this with Garbosa, score of 3 or more than 3. Sensitivity is 33, specificity was nearly 98, 99. Garbosa score of more than 2, 40, 85. Then modified criteria, there are modified criteria also subdivided into many criteria like 3, 4, 5 that we are not going into detail at all. But there also specificity was good, sensitivity was less. So only thing what we are going to achieve is increased sensitivity. But with increased sensitivity, false positive is going to come.
Yeah, they did smart.
So when in doubt, always listen to your patient. If patient is complaining of chest discomfort, chest pain, consider it as a MI. Whatever criteria may fill or not, consider it as a myocardial ischemia, not infarction, at least ischemia. And treat it as a myocardial ischemia. If my signs are getting filled, treat it as a myocardial infarctions can equivalent. Otherwise, even if treat as a ischemia at least. So that's what.
Actually,
Hmm.
if you look at this scenario, during an acute emergency, nobody will have time to look at this.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So that acute is acute. You go whichever way you go.
yes,
This is a situation where there is wishy-washy, borderline,
yes.
vague pain.
Yes, OPD practice, like
Then-
non-selective pain
No,
versus
That
cardiac.
is the only,
Yes,
this is a subfraction of those group of patients.
yes.
Where I think it is insurance driven because should we order a TMT and a
True.
stress echo,
True.
should we order an NG because they have to answer in the insurance.
True.
So this is primarily insurance driven for those borderline patients.
100%.
And they worked nicely in this guideline. They removed the concordant changes. So most of the confusion went.
Concordant changes is always positive. May it be any leads. Any leads.
Good. It was nice.
Always listen to your doctor, go for angiogram.